this is Aoife from Fredrik Laughing, and I'm here to do If You Like This, You Might Like That, an Irish edition. So the first one I have is actually one that I actually have never talked about on my channel before, but it is a book that I loved when I was younger, and that's because I was a horse girl when I was younger. So if anyone out there is a horse girl, I used to read the Saddle Club books. I used to read these all the time from the library. I love the Saddle Club books, and yeah, I obviously thought I was in my own saddle club in the stables that I was at. The Best Friends by Pauline Divine is the cutest little book about a girl who gets a pony from her granddad, a little filly, and they end up having to basically learn how to be horse and owner together. The girl, what is her name, Sarah, she gets the pony from her granddad and she's never ridden a horse before, but she knows that she had kind of wanted to, and her granddad just shows up one day with this gorgeous little horse and they have to learn how to do everything together. She ends up joining her local kind of pony club and becomes friends with another girl with this horse, and she ends up getting like all these like little cute little friendships and just doing all these little adventures with her pony. And it's just the cutest little book. It's really short, as you can see. It has some little cute little illustrations, but I loved this. The author, I think, came in to talk to us in school, and I think this is one of the reasons why I ended up getting to know it. But I loved it. There's like a nice little painting there. I loved horse books when I was younger because I just wanted to own my own horse so much. But yeah, I love this one and I definitely recommend this one. If this is still out, if people can get it from the library or get it from the shop somewhere, it is just such an adorable book. It's one I definitely need to reread because I haven't read it in a very long time. Another book that people really love, obviously, is The Krill Prince by Holly Black. Anyone who has been on BookTube knows what The Krill Prince is, unless you've been like literally living under a rock. So this is about a girl called Jude who ends up through circumstances when she was younger, she ends up getting adopted by this fairy who brings her to Elfheim, and she grows up in the land of fairy, and she grows up being a human amongst fairies, which is a very, very precarious thing to do because all sorts of things can happen to humans in fairy. I think if you like this one, you may like Cracking Everything by Ruth Frances Long, which is the first book in the Dublin series. So in this book we are following a girl called Izzy who ends up getting dragged into the world of fairy, that basically coexists side by side with normal Dublin, and what we as humans can't see the hidden streets and the hidden parts of the city that are actually belong to fairy, because obviously they are shielded from our eyes. And one day Izzy sees this fairy and she ends up having this entire part of fairy Dublin opened up to her, but that means there's a whole lot of danger as well. Yeah, I think these ones are kind of similar to each other just in terms of they have the very cruel, tricksy type of fairies, and all sorts of magic, the hidden types like the glamours and things like that, and all sorts of interesting fairy folk as well. You have the pixies, you have the redcaps, you have all sorts of different types of fairies, the same with the Krill Prince. So yeah, I think these two are very kind of linked together in that way, and if people like the Krill Prince, they may like A Cracking Everything. Another book a lot of people love is Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is my lovely edition of Alice in Wonderland, which I haven't picked up in a very long time. I actually could not remember if I still had it. If people like Alice in Wonderland, they may like the Book of Lost Things by John Connolly, because this also follows a child who ends up falling into this world that is completely not his own, but through reasons that he kind of just needs to escape his ordinary life for a while. He ends up having to kind of be the hero in this world, and he meets all sorts of magical creatures. Eventually he has to try and find his way back to his own family when he realises that that's where he should really be, and though they're the people who truly love him. So yeah, I just think the two of them, there is links between the two of them there, and I think people who like the kind of the topsy-turvy world that is Wonderland and Alice's adventures through it may enjoy the Book of Lost Things and David's journey through the magical land that he ends up being in. For those people who enjoy kind of contemporary books with a lot of hard-hitting feelings in them, like Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, you may like The Last Days of Rabbit Haynes by Anna McPartlin. This is a book that is about a woman who has an amazing bunch of friends, an amazing family, and she has a daughter who she loves very, very much, and then one day she discovers that she is very, very ill, and this book kind of follows the last days of Rabbit as she kind of comes to terms with her illness. She kind of, her friends and family rally around her, and we're kind of learning about their relationship, and we're also just seeing how her daughter is reacting to the fact that her mother is dying, and how things are going to happen, how things are going to go afterwards, and yeah, basically how everyone is dealing with that. It's a very gorgeous book. It's full of love, but it's also full of laughter, and even though it's a very tough topic to read about, it is just one of those books that it doesn't make you morose in a way, if you know that kind of way. There's this kind of real lovely feeling about it, even though it is about a woman who's dying. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's one that I've never been able to forget, and it's one that I keep kind of thinking about now and again. I do actually think there's a sequel coming out that may follow Rabbit's daughter, so yeah, I just really enjoy this one, and I definitely think if you like that kind of hard-hitting contemporary that focuses on topics like that are kind of like grief and illness but also family and love, this one could really do it for you. Like books about feminism and girls finding feminism and becoming suffragettes, such as Things a Bright Girl Can Do. I think people would really like The Making of Mollie by Anna Carey. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, particularly in Irish Readathon vlogs. This is just a really fun middle grade book about a girl called Mollie who discovers the Irish suffragette movement in the 1900s, and she decides that she wants to become a suffragette and she wants to take part in rallies, but she is only like 12 years old, so there's only so much she can do. So she ends up enlisting her friends to go on all these adventures to make people aware of suffragettes and try and get votes for women. And yeah, it's really enjoyable, very, very fun, and definitely recommend this one if you like books about girls finding feminism. The Lion Game by Ruth Ware is about a group of friends who have a lot of history together, coming back together when they are adults, and basically finally kind of revealing things that happened when they were younger. And if you like that, I definitely recommend Can You Keep a Secret by Karen Perry, which is about a woman who ends up in a relationship with a man that she knew a long time ago when she was younger, and there are a lot of secrets to do with when they first were friends, when she was friends with a sister, and she ends up going back to the house that they grew up in, and there is a secret there around the family and around the parents' death when they were around, I think when they were teenagers, and that is all going to come out now when they are in this house for this kind of last party before the house is sold, and people are going to die and a lot of things are going to happen and secrets are going to come out. And that is what happens. And yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities between The Lion Game and Can You Keep a Secret, in that kind of, yeah, childhood secrets, childhood groups of friends, people who are really, really shady, and yeah, just a really fun ride. If you like A Man Called Uwe by Fredrik Backman, which is about a old man called Uwe who is grumbling and wants to end his life and is not very happy in his life, but ends up seeing that there's lots of things left for him to do in his life, and there's lots of people left to love and to welcome into his life. You may like When All Is Said by Anne Griffin, which is the book about an old man called Morris who is raising five toasts he's raising in this pub to 5 people, to like these 5 different people in his life. Some of them were only in his life for a few moments, some of them were in his life for a few years, and we basically end up finding out about his life and all the kind of the regrets and the delights in his life through these 5 pints that he is having in this pub, and we figure out a lot of like different secrets that he's had, things that he's been keeping on for a really, really long time, and just some of the struggles he's facing now as he's getting older and what he wants to do about that. In this case, I will say I definitely prefer A Man Called Uwe, but there are similar themes. And I think if I was to pick a book that is Irish that is most closely resembles A Man Called Uwe, it would be When All Is Said, and it is one that a lot of people have really, really enjoyed, so I do recommend it. And then if you like reading about cool women in power, like Michelle Obama, who was the First Lady, obviously, of the United States, and Barack Obama's wife, and she wrote this amazing book about her childhood, her growing up, her education, her marriage, and her time in the White House, you may enjoy my hero, Mary Robinson, Everybody Matters. How many times can I bring this book into a video? I don't know, but I will. But I do definitely think that there are definite similarities between these two in terms of just how Mary Robinson grows. Like, she talks about growing up, her education, her childhood, and then her time in the White House, in the Ross Neutron, which is white, to be fair. It's like the Irish White House. Her time as president, and her time as like being a mother and being a president, and then her time in the United Nations following her presidency and things she did after that as well. There are definite similarities. I will say, obviously, Mary Robinson is a white woman who grew up in privilege, and Michelle Obama obviously grew up in a black community. She probably didn't always have as much opportunities as Mary Robinson, but in terms of just women who have done amazing things with where they've ended up, and done amazing things with the power that they've had and the voice they've had, I should say, rather than power. Yeah, they're really, really good. I definitely would recommend. So that's everything for this. If you like this, you might like that Irish edition. My camera battery is like dying, so I can see it in the corner, but we made it, so that's good. If you guys want to read any of these books, if you have read any of these books, please let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time.